stand at a generational crossroads, asking questions individually and collectively. Who are we called to be? How should we move forward? What should we do? I wrote this book because I seek to be in conversation with freedom seekers, particularly millennials, who are asking these timeless questions. Throughout Imagine Freedom, my writing seeks to honor the intellectual, spiritual, and cultural traditions that make me who I am. The chapters weave together political and social analysis, theological reflection, and personal storytelling. As a community organizer, journalist, and public theologian, I have cared deeply about liberation my entire life. For the past 2 decades, I have committed myself to political and theological education. This has included academic pursuits, mentorship by elders, and participation in several U.S. and African-based freedom schools in which I was educated by community organizers and liberation-centered scholars. I am a student of the movement. At the same time, I have trained thousands of people all over the globe and organized alongside hundreds of social justice organizations. As a minister, I have wrestled with our generation's questions about faith and freedom for decades. Spirituality is alive and ever present to me. Although my framework is Christian and Jesus is my spiritual center, I invite you to approach this book with your own worldview. My beliefs are grounded in liberation theology, which asserts that God is fundamentally for the poor and oppressed, and that the Bible can be read through a lens of liberation by all subjugated people. The liberating power of faith was crystallized for me while on a delegation to Darfur 2 years prior to attending seminary. When I asked a destitute Sudanese boy what was causing him to smile so much, he responded, "Because I know Jesus loves me." As Black people have for generations, he possessed the capacity to break chains by wielding God's unconditional love. Having witnessed African and Black American women do this my entire life molded me into a womanist who has a deep spiritual love for Black women and is committed to uplifting our unique stories and struggles as I do throughout this book. Through my experiences, I came to know that people are longing for insight, vocabulary, and narratives that will help them make sense of their pain and what is happening in this moment. This has always been made evident on my speaking tours. In 2019, most memorably, an African-American male college student asked me, "Why am I here on earth? And if I am here for a purpose, then why does it hurt so bad?" His question poetically expressed the yearning for healing and wholeness that I had heard from hundreds of college students throughout the years. Their tears remain with me to this day, filling me with an immense sense of urgency. I am reminded of them whenever I read that depression and suicide rates are increasing among young people. The unforgettable conversations I have had with them cement my belief that in order for the U.S. to heal from racialized trauma and cultivate the freedoms our ancestors so desperately long for, this nation must first acknowledge and then work to mend the wounds of Black pain and multi-generational trauma. As a child of war-torn Eritrea who was an undocumented immigrant in the United States for a decade, I was raised to see this country as a place of refuge. It took living here and leaving for a period of years to understand that the brand of the U.S. is very different from the reality of what it is. While our government is willing to invest billions into the armed forces of Israel and Ukraine, it refuses to provide its own citizens with universal free health care. The Republican Party demonizes our very existence, and the Democratic Party is failing to advance the political will of Black America. We are left tragically bound to this failed two-party system and suffocating daily.